inside the Team Canada dressing room for Game 3, the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. Back in the red sweaters today against Switzerland. And the game plan is simple. Be relentless. Cue the Arkells. Alberta, as we wind down 2020, thankfully, at the World Juniors. The path is simple for Canada. They're 2-0. They win this game, beat Finland New Year's Eve, and they will win the group and get top seed for the quarterfinal. Getting ready to come onto the ice right now to take on the Swiss. As we say hello, Canada, James Duthie and Bob McKenzie with you. Craig Button will join us in just a second as we get you set for Canada's third game here at the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. And there's been a little bit of a Goldilocks thing going on with people's reactions to Canada's two victories so far. They score 16 against depleted Germany, and some people say, too hot, too many. Then they barely survive and win 3-1 against Slovakia. Too cold, not enough. Hey, they're 2-0, which is what they wanted to be, but I suppose they'll try to be just right today against Switzerland. To get you ready, Gordon Miller and Ray Ferraro.
We've heard some good nicknames over the years in this tournament. The workhorse from Whitehorse for Dylan Cousins is pretty good.
One of my favorite players Canada's had in their roster over the 10 years of this tournament that I've done. I just love the way that he plays, the energy that he plays with, the detail to the game that he has, the way his personality is always in a positive vein, but he competes hard too. Now, Mark Masters was asking him about being one of the captains with Kirby Dockton, and he mentioned about leadership being in many different forms. For me, when I look at Cousins as a leader, it's all those things that I just spoke about that he does the right way. How could you not follow a player that does things the way the team needs, whether it was more of a checking role last year, a scoring role this year? You do it with a smile on your face, and then people want to follow you. He's a legit NHL top 6 forward for the Buffalo Sabres in the near future, and I think the best of the tournament still to come for Dylan Cousins.
Canada is 23-0 all-time against the Swiss. The Swiss did take Canada to a shootout in 2016.
And so, Bob, what's the key for them against a Switzerland team you know will be trying to clog up the neutral zone?
Simplify the game, use your speed, and try to get, when you're clogging up the neutral zone or in front of the net, get to pucks to the front of the net, get bodies to the front of the net. The U.S. did a textbook job against the Czechs in the first game of the day, breaking down the Czech wall in front of the net. If the Swiss decide to do the same thing, Canada needs to do the same thing as the Americans today.
If you are just joining us, full lineup. Dylan Holloway's back after missing the last game with an injury, and Braden Schneider, who's barely played, kicked out of the first game and then suspended for the second game. What does he bring to the Team Canada lineup,
well,
Greg?
He brings a physical, territorial presence, and it's going to be important as Canada goes and faces better teams. You go back to the gold medal winning years of 2015. Darnell Nurse played that role that was nasty and hard to play against. Kevin Ball last year in Czech Republic. That's the type of player Braden Schneider is. That's the type of game he can deliver as they try to compete for the gold medal.
Devin Levi will start his third straight game for Canada against a team in Switzerland that only had 14 shots against Finland and has a 2.4% shooting efficiency so far, ahead of only Austria in this tournament.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
Welcome back to Edmonton. Game 2 of the day has Team Canada playing its third game of the tournament, taking on Switzerland, which is 0-2 so far to start the event. Referees are Fraser Lawrence from Edmonton, Alexander Garon from Terrebonne, Quebec, the linesman, are Nathan Van Oosten, and Brett McKay. In goal for Switzerland is 18-year-old Noah Patnaud, plays for St. John in the Quebec Major Junior League. He's 18, eligible for the 2021 NHL draft. And once again for Canada, the recently turned 19-year-old Devin Levi allowed 1 goal and 18 shots in Canada's win over Slovakia. Marco Bayer is the head coach of the Swiss national junior team. First time for him. He's been an assistant with the men's national team. And there is 46-year-old Andre Tourigny, a 4-time assistant coach for Canada in this tournament. First time as the head man behind the bench. Canada beat Switzerland in the last meeting in the Vancouver tournament, 3-2. The Swiss have had a number of close games against Canada over the years.
Always try to keep the game close, try to be an opportunistic team. This year, goals have been an absolute challenge for the Swiss. Just 1 in 2 games.
Lost their opener 1-0 to Slovakia, then beaten 4-1 by the Finns. That was a close game where the Finns broke it open in the 3rd period. Battle for the loose puck, played back at the point. Long shot by Jamie Drysdale, loose in front. Patnaud's down, the puck's still loose. Byram pokes at it. Patnaud's still down. He's making snow angels, and the Swiss clear it out. And they ice it.
Gord, I always talk about I'd love to see a heart monitor on the goaltender when they can't find the puck. Watch this initial stop, which is a good one, but now he can't find the puck. He knows it's there somewhere, and the panic is on. He's on his back into the snow angel, as you mentioned. A good Drysdale shot. The traffic in front of the net as Krebs drives the net to create the rebound.
Here's Cousins on it. Dylan Cousins, as you mentioned, first-round pick of Buffalo in 2019, plays for Lethbridge in the Western Hockey League, but he'll be heading to camp with the Buffalo Sabres once this tournament's over.
Gord, Canada's rejigged the lines a little bit here again. Andre Tourigny looking for a little more from his team, a little more energy, and I think this group can really dominate in the offensive zone. Holloway and Cousins, the engines, McMichael in the middle.
We welcome fans in our virtual fan club. There's Canadian families tuning in as well. Hello, everyone, wherever you're looking at across the country.
One guy in the middle there, he's ready to go.
Yeah, I hope he's not wearing skates. Back at the point. That shot by Braden Schneider back in the lineup after serving a 1-game suspension. Schneider wrists it in deep, but it's knocked down there by Inaki Barragano. Now picked out by Kananika. And put back down to the Canadian zone that goes into the Canadian bench. And the face-off will come back. And among the families looking in, the Byrams from Cranbrook, BC. Hello, Stacy and Sean, mom and dad, Jamie and Jane. Grandmother Jane is there. And here's the McMichael, sister Brianna, her boyfriend John, and the dog's name is Ginny. Hey, Ginny, want to go for a walk?
Ginny's following John. Out the door they go.
I love doing that to other people's dogs. Hey, want to go for a walk? Then leave. A different experience for the families this year and for the players who, one of the thrills of playing in this tournament is to play when it's here in an NHL building in front of an arena full of fans, or in Europe and the fans there. There's a quick shot, score! Tomasino again! Bill Tomasino has scored in 3 straight games, and Canada's got a 1-0 lead.
Matt Tomasino can deliver the puck. He doesn't need much room to shoot it. 100 points last year in just 62 games. You're going to watch him come right off the bench. Canada's in a change. Tomasino's been on the ice for about 4 seconds, and he's on the board. In the 3 games Canada's played, Tomasino's been on the ice for 7 goals. Canada is 7-0. When Philip Tomasino was on the ice, the Nashville Predators' first rounder goes across the body, up into the shelf, over the blocker, and it's 1-0.
And it's not like he's playing a ton. Tomasino's played 19 minutes total in the tournament. Bouncing puck to the line, brought in by Suzuki. Ryan Suzuki backhands that in deep. And Dawson Mercer on it. Mercer pokes a great chance in front for Suzuki, and the puck rolled off his stick. Puck still loose, and Elvis Schlaffer has it. Here's Mercer back down low. A centering pass that was broken up and knocked ahead by Schlaffer. Back down the Canadian zone. Byram back to pick it up. Owen Byram for Dawson Mercer. Chips it there to Suzuki. Up for Tomasino, who needs a change, and heads off.
That is efficiency, isn't it? Onto the ice, into the net, change again.
He's played 20 minutes. He scored 4 goals. Bob McKenzie gave us a heads up about him prior to the tournament. A Mississauga native who plays for Oshawa in the Ontario League. Now Brendan Gooley with a chance that goes high off the glass. Gooley, rather.
In the summer, he lived with Ryan Ellis down in Nashville while they were doing the development stuff. And pretty good mentor to have, as Ellis has been to 3 World Junior Championships. Let's take a look at this goal again and focus in a little bit on Quinton Byfield. And Byfield is going to hunt down the puck. Some good work from Quinn, and how quickly Byfield delivered that pass. He didn't have to rifle it. Watch him just lead this. It's a very receivable pass. As a centerman, I kind of focus in on that. You pass it hard when you have to pass it hard. When you don't have to, you make it easy for the receiver to get it. He laid that out there perfectly for Tomasino, who made no mistake. Byfield's game continues slowly to baby step its way up the ladder here. And I think he's shown progress in a year, even though he hasn't played much. But you can start to see he's becoming more comfortable on the ice.
Schneider to Cousins, moves it and shoots. That rattles high off the glass. Now Harley with it. Drives it across. Schneider throws it back in front. Then Patno gathers up the loose puck.
Noah Patno has been very busy here in the first 3.5 minutes. Canada's been really aggressive onto the puck, and a little D-to-D play from Harley to Schneider. A nice scoop by Schneider to keep this play alive, and he goes back behind the mess of Cousins creating traffic in front of the net to Dylan Holloway, and Holloway's able to one-time that puck towards the net.
Byfield for the face-off, not done fairly. So Holloway, McMichael, and Cousins. Holloway back in the lineup, as you mentioned, after missing Canada's last game against Slovakia. Here's Jack Quinn with it. Throws it back on the slot. That's knocked down by Attilio Biasca. And played back ahead, but knocked down right away by Pelche. Jacob Pelche with Quinn jumping in. Winds through, drops it back. Byram works back in the corner, throws that in behind the Swiss net. Jumping up is Drysdale. Jamie Drysdale pivots back. Looks back at the point. Byfield to Byram. That pass for Quinn misfired. And pivoting back is Dario Allenspach. Back across to Nathan Boideau. He bounces that down to the Canadian zone. Lionel Marchand goes in to pick it up. Pelche up into Drysdale. He finds Zary. Under Zary working in. Guggenheim steps into him. A battle for the puck along the wall. It's moved out by the Swiss. Noah Meyer couldn't clear it out. In fact, comes Zary with it. Zary plays it back into the Swiss zone. Stepping in to help out is Tomasino. And Caden Gooley steps up to keep it alive. His older brother, Brendan, is an Anaheim prospect, acquired from the Buffalo Sabres. And they both played for the Prince Albert Raiders in the Western Hockey League. Caden Gooley knocks it down, a long wrist shot. That was off a skate in front. And now Suzuki jumps in for it. Off the bench comes Perfetti. Suzuki drops it down. Another hard shot. That's gloved by Patno, as Barron got that away.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is proudly delivered to you by DoorDash. Get $0 delivery for your first month. Delicious delivered.
Back here in Edmonton later tonight. We'll have Austria against Russia. Earlier today, the United States with a decisive win over the Czechs. Schneider down to Perfetti. Scooped up by Alex Newhook. Back he goes to Harley. Pass across to Schneider, bounce back in the corner. Shots are 7-0 Canada. We got a penalty coming up. It's going to be an interference call This is going against the Swiss.
Alex Newhook got tied up behind the play with Lorenzo Canonica.
Switzerland number 14, minor penalty interference.
Newhook went down and the official took an extra second to register that it was interference. You'll see this in the bottom of the screen. I mean, it's pretty clearly it's interference. The puck's on the other side of the net, and the Canadian power play, which is 2 for 5, gets their first chance.
And comes Perfetti, a chance. He rattled that wide.
That's one of the things they were working on and want, is more direct to the net. Not so slow, so deliberate around the outside.
Away comes Byram, drops it back for Cousins. Crossing goes to Krebs, back to Cousins, jumping in. And Canada gets set up. Perfetti swings it back to Byram. Perfetti down to Krebs, but bounces back in front. Krebs a chance. Pad pad save. Perfetti back with it. Cole Perfetti back to Byram. Cross it goes to McMichael. Connor McMichael back to Byram. Swings it back across to Perfetti. And Perfetti shoots off the outside of the net. Another penalty coming up.
I think that's going to be Dylan Cousins that goes here.
Oh, he touched it, and that's when they blew the whistle, so Cousins not sure why, but
Team Canada, number 22, minor penalty, high stick.
got him for a high stick.
We'll watch Cousins in front of the net here. He's trying to gain position. I can't see where that penalty is.
Fiedler got clipped, but not by Holloway, or by Cousins, rather.
That's the most innocent 2 minutes.
That long shot drifts wide to 4-on-4.
He can literally say, I'm an innocent man.
Well, he's got the judge. He should appeal. That pass through the middle.
I don't know if he can get the paperwork done in time.
No. Alan Spock tapped that wide. Alan Spock in the 4-on-4. Quinn all over him. Byfield jumping in. That was knocked out by Rocco Pizzulo. Quinn up head to Drysdale. Jamie Drysdale works in. Drysdale drops it back. Harley up with it. 30 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Brought in now by Simon Canuck, who's back from last year for the Swiss. Again, a long shot kicked out by Levi.
Levi does a nice job when he stops the puck of making sure it doesn't stay in the 10 or 15 feet in front of the net. Well-controlled rebounds.
Raymond Foust with a shot from a sharp angle. And the stop is made by Levi. Phil Tomasino from Mississauga, Ontario has Canada on the board. It's a 1-0 lead here in the first.
After looking at the evidence, we're going to see where the penalty is here. Doink.
Oh.
As Fielder takes the high stick from Cousins. Cousins is just turning to go behind the net, so apologize to the official. And this will never get to court.
Nope, sorry. Appeal denied. Aragano, final seconds now. The Swiss penalty going to go to power play for about 45 seconds. Dolce plays it around. Barron on it. He's taken down by Biasca. Now Canada is shorthanded. Holloway moves up, and a penalty coming down to the Swiss. Holloway was taken down, so a tripping penalty will go to the Swiss, and that's going to do it for their abbreviated power play. It'll be Raymond
Switzerland
Foust,
number 28, minor penalty, tripping.
So Canada's going to end up with 1:24 power play time at the end of this. Is there's the trip. Is good little move by Holloway, and Foust is trying to make contact with his hip, but he makes it with his feet.
His dad's the former head coach of the Swiss national junior team. John's from Montreal, longtime coach in Switzerland.
So the Swiss, an opportunity on the power play gone, and they don't draw many power plays, and so that's a chance gone for them. So Canada will go back to the power play in 32 seconds. They don't have any other power play guys on the ice here for the 4-on-4. Cousins will step out and head to his customary spot.
Brought up by Meyer. That pass broken up at center ice by Harley, trying to find Peltier. That was broken up. And the captain, Canuck, moves it ahead. Back goes Schneider. Drops it off to Harley. Shots are 8-2 in favor of Canada. A 1-0 lead here in the first period. Schneider leads the rush. Schneider a centering pass. That bounced away. Pelche tries to knock it down. Harley pokes it across. 4-on-4 for a few seconds here. Then Canada back on the power play.
And here comes Byram as the Canadians start to make their changes one at a time. Oh, they're going to be a 5-on-3 in a second.
Cousins out of the box. Byram works in. Penalty coming to Switzerland. Byram drops it back. As the Swiss touch up another penalty. This might be a 2-10.
Switzerland number 22, minor penalty, checking from behind, and a 10-minute misconduct.
So Salzgeber goes off. He's a returnee from last year.
And just back in the lineup after missing the first 2 games, he hit Schneider directly on the 2, which is a check from behind penalty all day, every day. And in international hockey, that goes along with a misconduct. So a place the Swiss don't want to be. Down 2 men here, down 1-0.
Won the draw, though. Schlaffer took that draw away from Cousins. And is backhanded down the ice by Fiedler. Minutes ago, the 5-on-3. McMichael winds in with Krebs. Peyton Krebs drops it back for Cousins. Dylan Cousins feeds it back to Byram. And across to McMichael, the London Knights star, back to Byram. Across to Cousins. Cousins plays it across. McMichael unloads. Patno dropped that down. Cousins holds the line. Cross he goes to Byram. Owen Byram in, shoots. Patno save, rebound loose in front. Perfetti trying to find it just out of his reach. And Krebs got flattened in front of the Swiss net.
I like what they're trying to do here, but if Krebs in front of the net is going to be posted up, when he realizes this is a pass, not a shot, he can take 1 stride towards Byram because you can't deflect it that close. The goaltender's right up on top of the stick. If you take 1 step towards Byram, now you can make a pass across the crease. That play will be open on the 5-on-3.
Michael to Byram. Takes the return pass. Cousins fired that just wide.
Well, he shot that. It went right through the defenseman Bourdou's feet and just wide of the net.
Cousins in across the line. Drops it there for Perfetti, but the play is offside as Krebs was ahead. First time we saw Krebs in that bumper position, you want to call that, or the front net front position, was here at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup in 2018. He'd not played it before, but Andre Tournier put him there for that tournament. He was very effective.
Now, said he's watching a little video of Braden Point and Patrice Bergeron. Well, pretty good guys to watch in the bumper. You know, when they started with the bumper being a really effective part of the power play, teams just kind of threw a guy there. And then the Bruins put Bergeron there. And I think what people realized is that player is critical. He's got to have vision. He's got to have good hands. He has to know when the puck comes into him, where's the best place to deliver it. And the quality of player in the bumper position is almost the most talented guy now.
Long shot by Drysdale, deflected in front. First penalty's over. Foot steps back on. Tomasino down to Quinn. And off the boards and down the ice.
Well, that 5-on-3 was a little bit rusty, you could tell. They haven't had many opportunities to practice or play it.
Byfield drops it off to Quinn. Cross he goes to Tomasino. Pass knocked down. Bourdou plays that ahead. Walking in is Marchand. That pass was knocked away back at the point. A hard drive there from Pizzulo. Goes off a stick, up and out of play.
Well, you never want to have to make a desperation play, certainly when you're on the power play. But Ryan Suzuki is going to realize this is a 2-on-1. He's got to come all the way back here, and he makes the intercept of the passer. Gaetan Jobin is going to have a one-time opportunity here. Real good work by Suzuki to follow that play all the way back into the danger area.
Canuck in behind the Canadian goal. Final seconds now on this power play for Canada. Barragano centers it. Canuck had that shot blocked. It's chipped up by Zary. Up ahead for Mercer. Austin Mercer across to Alex Newhook. Newhook winds in. Here's Mercer with it. Back for Newhook. In alone in front. And Patnaud makes the stop. 1-0 Canada leads. 9:31 to go here in the first period.
Braden Schneider back in the lineup for Team Canada after being suspended one game for delivering this hit in Canada's opening game. It's not the first time he's been suspended. Said he took a suspension last year in Brandon for a similar type play, but it was back in midget, guys. 6 to 8 games he thinks he missed. He had a massive growth spurt between bantam and midget. He was a very physical player as a smaller guy in bantam, and he said it took him some time to figure out how to play physical with that much extra size and not continue to get suspended.
Wake up one morning and the fridge door is lower.
I don't know. Does that happen? It's always in the same place for me.
Here's Mercer with it. Back at the point, Schneider across to Harley. Thomas Harley. Back to Schneider, another penalty coming, winds and shoots. His penalty's going against Canada. Look, I think it's high stick for a high stick, yeah.
So Canada with 3 early power plays. The Swiss will get their first right now.
Number 15 Canada, minor penalty, high stick.
Oh, there's the high stick there. So Newhook hits the box.
And the Swiss get a chance, as you mentioned, Ray. They haven't had many in the tournament. They have 1 power play goal. You think about that game against Slovakia for them. They lose 1-0. The power play didn't do a thing.
And look at the hot water it puts them in.
So if they lose today, they're in a winner-take-all game against Germany tomorrow.
Germany gets 2 points yesterday with the overtime win.
And 5 players back today. So the last of their guys is out of quarantine, so they'll have a full complement of players tomorrow and be rested for that game against the Swiss. And hello to those of you in Switzerland who are looking on tonight, your time. You get a cowbell from someone.
You do. I think we're looking past midnight over there by now. What time is it here? Is it 5 o'clock yet?
4:30 here.
12:30 there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, just after midnight. Huh?
So, you know, Gord, you mentioned about the power play against Slovakia not doing much, and you know they've got 2 shots in this game here. They're down 1-0, and this is where you, in your upset special that I always talk about, is like you need something here. It's not even a luxury, your special teams. You need something.
Mercer knocked down Meyer there. Now the lead pass finds Kananaki.
Oh, that's a good play from Byram. Wow, he shows off his strength and skating ability there to push Schlepper off the puck.
Inside a minute to go in the Swiss power play. Gargano sends that rink line. Flipped back in by Kanonika. There's 7 Swiss players who's eligible for next year's NHL draft. They have no drafted players in this lineup.
Such a rarity lately for the Swiss.
Canuck feeds it back, long shot by Meyer, deflected wide. Gargano turned it over to Suzuki. He's got Krebs with him, but lays it down as they go off on a change. These are pretty heady days for Swiss hockey, though. A couple of years ago, Nico Hischier, the first Swiss player to go first overall. And of course, Roman Josi wins the Norris Trophy as NHL's top defenseman. Schneider with it. Played high in the air. Bouncing puck knocked down by Foust. Trying to go rink wide. McMichael knocked it down. And McMichael brings it out. Jumps it across the line. Stripped neatly there by Pizzulo. And Zeri feeds it right back in. No shots on goal in that last power play for the Swiss. Sandro Villa lays that back down, almost stolen there, and was. A centering pass is knocked away as Caden Korzak got a stick on that, might have saved the goal there.
For 4 years, teams have done amazing things to raise the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup. But this year, ideas triumph. What would you do with $100,000 for your community?
It's just near misses. Levi goes to play this around the back of the net to Byram. You're right, Gord. I mean, Korzak's in the right spot. That's looks like a 4x6 if that puck comes to the front of the net.
Moved in now by Marchand. And bounces by Giancarlo Shanton on the Swiss defense. There's no question about how this World Junior player says it. It's Marchand. The one who played for Canada, I have the notes. He said, Marchand rhymes with Sam. He's changed it 6 times since. Now he's just doing it for fun. But Byram straightened up first. And icing called against the Swiss.
You know, Byram has worked hard to expand his game to be more reliable defensively. He said getting into camp with Colorado and seeing how to defend the bigger, stronger, faster guys was an eye-opener. Man, he's such a great skater. And he's got such poise when he's defending. Never mind when he carries the puck. We can all see that. But he doesn't seem to get rattled when he's defending somebody. I think that part of the game will improve very quickly for him. It already is.
McMichael sent it. Holloway couldn't cash on the rebound. Barron throws that towards the goal. It was off the leg. That was blocked by Kanika. Now along the board, scooped up by Kanak. Rick wide he goes, and Fuss got hammered there by Gulen. Here's Holloway with it. Up ahead to Cousins. Fuss stepped into him. And the puck bounced into the Canadian bench. 5:10 to go here in the opening period. You're watching the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. Time now for Gear Up with Skip the Dishes. What do you do if you can't go into the arena? You stand outside and wait for the Canadian players to arrive. And these guys have been out there the day of every Canada game, waving flags and banging on their drums. And yeah, when the Canadian players walk over from the hotel, they can see them. Let's hope those fans and thousands more are in the building next year.
It is a fantastic tournament, and man, do you miss the fans.
Lead pass to Pelche, winding in.
Miss that fun to the tournament.
Quinn in, shoots a pad save by Patno.
Patno's had a good first period. 12 saves here in 15 minutes.
First appearance in the tournament. Brought up by Schlapper. He was tied up at center ice. Jovan. Up after Schlapper, poke check by Byfield. Crossy goes to Schneider. Brady Schneider, long lead pass at center ice. Pelche chips it back for Harley jumping in. Thomas Harley drops it back. Quinn ahead for Byfield. That pass skipped away. And moved up by Allenspach. Biasca plays it around. Attilio Biasca has the only Swiss goal so far in the tournament. Scored in their 4-1 loss to Finland. Here's Biasca, the 17-year-old with it now. Plays it back, and that shot fired wide from the point by Noah Meyer. Biasca feeds that back. Guggenheim a long shot through the traffic. And Levi makes the save.
Man, it's like he's got Velcro all over him. That puck hits and sticks to him. It does not move. And when it does, he's square with it and he pushes it to the corner. Here's a clean look. Nice job by the defenseman to keep the sight line open for Levi, and you see him drop into the butterfly, but everything tight together. There's no holes for the puck to squeak through, and he makes the stop.
That shot by Wardu goes high and wide. We're just talking about the atmosphere of the World Junior. There's a Swiss referee named Danny Kerman, who worked this tournament for a long time in the Olympics and World Championship, and I'll never forget him before the gold medal game in Ottawa in '09, standing in the Zamboni and waiting to come out and looking around at the Canadian crowd on their feet, waiting for the team to come on the ice. He still talks about that being one of the biggest thrills of his career.
Just thinking those buildings, like when the building is like that, you feel the floor moving beneath you. It's just so amazing. And it's such for the referees too. We forget about that, how important that is to be selected for that game as well.
Remember 03 in Halifax, the water in the water bottle in front of me shaking from the vibration of the fans at the Metro Center. Incredible. Byron back with it. Feeds it back across to Drysdale. Bordeaux lays it back across, and Drysdale goes back for it. Suzuki had that pass go off a skate. Canuck back with it, and brought in by Schlapfer. Schlapfer on Drysdale, shoots off the outside of the net. Schlapfer back with it, and Byram separated him from the puck. Lead pass to Mercer. Canada changing as Dawson Mercer works in, and he'll go off as well. Inside 3 to go here in the opening period. Ferragamo lays out ahead for Chanton. That pass misfired. Now poking it ahead is Korzak. And Levi back to leave it there. For Cooley to Perfetti. Shots are 13-3 in favor of Canada. Still a 1-0 game. Cooley up ahead to Krebs. In comes Peyton Krebs. A backhand shot. That's knocked away by Patnaud. Krebs back on it. Leaves it there in the corner. Hofer can't clear it out. Perfetti stole that. Slides it across to Krebs. Krebs takes a bump. Back down to Newhook. Newhook chops at it. He got knocked down. And now Villa plays it back across. Fiedler tied up there by Holloway. And now Fiedler outlets, but again it's knocked down, this time by McMichael. And finally skated out by Dollar. Rossi goes to Jobin. And Jobin digs for it in the corner. Holloway took it away. And McMichael flips it high in the air. Chanton back to pick it up. Giancarlo Chanton. Good rink wide pass out of the reach of Jobin. Icing waved off. Harley from his knees to Holloway. Didn't connect for a getaway shot. Pinballs around in front. That's knocked away. And now McMichael picks his way out to Cousins. And Dylan Cousins lifts that down to the Swiss zone. Holloway hard after it. And now as Holloway touches up, we're going to have a penalty to Connor McMichael here. Interference will be the call, and the Swiss will get the power play with 56 seconds to go.
It's going to be an interference penalty on McMichael.
Data number 17, minor penalty, interference.
Ooh, that could have been 2 and 10.
It easily could have been. So the Swiss back to the power play. They didn't have a shot on that last one. Canada did an excellent job controlling the play.
And the draw here, Meyer a long shot. That was blocked.
Good block by Pelche.
He's been a very useful player. He's an energy guy. He can play the power play if he needed, those penalties. Picked up by Kananika. Plays it back to center ice. Here's Drysdale with it with Byram. They'll just let some time run down off the clock here as the Swiss are changing. And Drysdale happy to play keep away for the last 20 seconds of the period. Now throws it back down. Here's Cousins going after it. Look at Cousins' motor.
He can really get going. And that was a terrific play by Drysdale the whole way back to hold it and then clear it into a zone that Cousins could get into a foot race on.
Final seconds now of the period, brought in by Pizzulo. The time expires. The Swiss will have 1 minute and 4 seconds of power play time to carry over into the second period. Philip Tomasino has the only goal so far. Canada a 1-0 lead. After 1 period of play, you're watching the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. From Edmonton, our first intermission is coming up.
Greg Westlake supports the Hockey Canada Foundation Assist Fund because he knows when we help kids get on the ice, there's no limit to the power of play. Give an assist. Donate now.
NBA on TSN continues tomorrow with a doubleheader. Hawks tip off against Steve Nash and the Nets, followed by a clash between the Trailblazers and the Clippers. We'll see if the Clippers can lose by less than 50 in this one. Kawhi is questionable. Action begins 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on TSN. James Duthie back with Bob McKenzie. Craig Button will join us in just a second. Kind of fizzled through most of the period with the power plays and the PK. We'll get to that in just a second. But the first 3 minutes or so of that period, you said, okay, that's Team Canada, the way they're skating and moving.
They were given a very specific game plan. That is, don't overthink things. Simplify things. Play hard. Play fast. Pucks and bodies to the net. Straight line hockey. And right off the bat, the first line that was out there, Alex Newhook between Cole Perfetti and Peyton Krebs, did that strong on the forecheck, create turnovers, crash and bang, pucks to the net, bodies to the net, mayhem ensues, and at that point it really looked like Canada might run the Swiss right out of the building on the first shift. The goaltender was swimming, Pagenaud was all over the place, and in the first 90 seconds of the game, some great work by Byfield to come back on the back check and get a puck over to Tomasino, who's been lights out good so far in this tournament. 90 seconds in, they've got exactly what they want. They've set the tone, and as you said, James, pretty much everything after that started to diminish.
Canada's power play was 2 for 3 against Germany, 0 for 2 against Slovakia, and 0 for in this first period, even with the 5-on-3. Too predictable, too stagnant for your liking, Craig?
I think a lot more of the latter, too stagnant. You know, the broadcast led off with the Arkells Relentless song. Bob just pointed out what they did 5-on-5. The power play was not relentless. It was stagnant. It was slow. You're supposed to have a man advantage. This turned into a disadvantage for Team Canada. And after they had the 5-on-3 and produced nothing, they didn't produce very much after that. You know, with the skill they have, they're not very purposeful. They're making it easy on the Swiss to kill the penalty. And when you don't apply pressure and you don't make them have to defend you in the critical areas, it becomes a real simple task to kill the penalties. Canada is really creating their own challenges on a power play that's supposed to give you an advantage.
And not only was the power play not good, 3 trips to the penalty box. Team Canada, general rule of thumb is less than 4 power plays that you want to give up. They've already given up those 3, although there was some 4-on-4 play in there. Cousins and Newhook with high sticks. McMichael with an interference penalty. They got to stay out of the box.
Cousins, like the guy said, I think wrongfully convicted on that one. Quinton Byfield was the youngest player on the team last year. Youngest player again on the team this year. Certainly looks different and more confident than last year, though, Craig.
Oh, he certainly does, and I think he looks even more confident since he came to Red Deer for the pre-competition camp. I mean, he put on a lot of weight in the offseason to get stronger and prepare himself for the NHL season, and you got to get adjusted to carrying that weight. Well, looks like he's become very acclimated to that weight and moving very quick and powerfully. And I think that as you watch him, he makes the assist on the first goal. There's more good to come out of Quinton Byfield because that pace of his game is only increasing.
Could probably use his first World Junior goal just to get him going offensively, but it says something about the expectations in Canada that 7 periods into this tournament, they've outscored opponents 20-3, and we're all still saying, when are they really going to get going? Phil Tomasino's been excellent so far. We'll hear from him next.
Character. Integrity, respect. If we bring good sportsmanship on and off the ice, we can help end bullying.
Hey folks, cheer on Team Canada in style with the newest Nike Team Canada Heritage jersey. From fans to players, coaches, officials, and volunteers, there's something for everyone at Hockey Canada's official online store. Time now for the World Juniors High Performance, fueled by Gatorade.
Berglund for Holmstrom. Holmstrom practice shot. Goodlow with the wrister. Finds the top corner.
He can shoot that puck. He doesn't need a lot of time to get it off his stick.
Dropped back by Brink. Wrist shot through some traffic. Rebound on the goal line. Score!
There you have it. Bobby Orr Brink gets the USA on the board. I can never say his name, just Bobby Brink, because I just love the Bobby Orr Brink.
It is going to be to Bertil. Shot score! On the delayed penalty.
So last year he showed us all the great assists. This year he says, oh yeah, I got more than just assists.
And your tournament scoring leaders are brought to you by Gatorade. Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. What a day for Trevor Zegras earlier today. 5 points. He had 9 primary assists last year in the tournament. Was spectacular, but didn't score a single goal. He's got 5 goals already to lead the way, followed by Canada's Dylan Cousins. And Phil Tomasino, Bob McKenzie's X factor before the tournament, has been terrific. 6 points, all of them primary points, 5-on-5, and that merits an interview with our Ryan Rishaug.
Phil, sometimes one of the challenges for highly skilled players when they come to Hockey Canada is trying to do more with less ice time. You're not playing a ton, you've got 4 goals. How are you staying sharp offensively despite fewer minutes?
Yeah, I think I've definitely taken advantage of my opportunity, and I'm getting the chance to play with some great players, so that definitely helps. But I know overall I feel pretty good about my game, but I think there's a lot more to go, and there's a lot more for our team left here. So
yeah, you have to have a good feeling when you step off the bench, take 6 or 7 strides, and you score a goal. Nice to have one that early.
Yeah, it's always nice, a nice feeling to kind of get one, on your first shift. Kind of starts the game in the right set for sure. So it's a great start for a team, but I think we got to build off that more. So
people might not know this, but you were traded for 9 draft picks when you were in junior. Maybe just a thought on that trade happening and that many draft picks.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I didn't really know the exact number until they kind of announced it. So it was definitely a lot of picks for sure. But I think it was a great trade for myself, and I was really fortunate to go to a great organization as well.
Great, thanks for your time,
awesome.
Phil.
Thank you.
Tomasino has Canada up 1-0. They'll be back on the ice after the Arkells and one short break.
Here's your first period scoring summary. Philip Tomasino steps on the ice, puts the puck in the net, and makes it 1-0 in favor of Canada. His 4th goal of the tournament. He scored in all 3 Canadian games so far. The shots were 14-3 in that period. Cord Miller back here with Ray Ferraro. We've been watching him play for a couple of years now in this tournament. Bowen Byram never ceases to impress.
His skating is so good. He's able to get around the ice so efficiently, and the way that he moves the puck, you can see why Colorado was so excited about him, picking him at number 4. He and Jamie Drysdale, back as returnee defensemen, of course, they're able to get around the ice, as I mentioned. Watch how efficiently and simply Byram plays. Quickly back to the puck, a little chip to himself, and a clear away. Now it looks like it could be a breakaway, but Byram takes 2 strides, leans on the Swiss forward, and then wheels the breakout. He's physical, he's strong, and while he's commenting on his learning as to defend NHL players, he's ready for the NHL. I don't think there's any question about that. And wearing the C today, Bowen Byram played 7.5 minutes in that first period, most of anybody in the game.
So the Canadian bench looking for some spark here. Numerous power plays both ways in the opening period. A 1-0 lead for Canada. The Canadians will wrap up the round robin on Thursday, New Year's Eve, against the Finns. Swiss are back in action tomorrow against Germany, their final game of the preliminary round. Germans with an overtime win against Slovakia yesterday, so that gives them 2 points in the competition.
Yeah, smooth 32 minutes for Tim Stützle yesterday. A couple of goals, and
Slaughter tries to chip that in.
Germany's going to have to hand out name tags tomorrow. They get 5 more guys eligible to play, and hopefully for them, they're in some kind of fitness to be able to help.
Well, the day off today, so they could practice. Back at the line, Panak with a hard shot that goes off the leg of Dawson Mercer. Penalty coming up for Switzerland. Holloway moves it across the line. Holloway slides it back in the slot. Perfetti, or Gouli rather, ripped that wide. And Caden Gouli touches up. The Swiss finally grabbed the puck, and a hooking call will go against Switzerland 1 minute and 5 seconds into the second period. Lorenzo Canonica goes off.
Second time for
Switzerland, number 14, minor penalty, hooking.
Canonica gets the hooking call. You'll see it right out in the slot. He's going to lift Drysdale's stick there. So the 4th time Canada goes to the power play. One of them cut very short with a Dylan Cousins high sticking penalty. But in a 1-0 game, this is the point of the start of the game where you can maybe break this thing open if your power play can get on track.
Byram drops it off for Krebs, ahead to Cousins. Slides it across to Perfetti. Cole Perfetti. Back to Byram, and now Perfetti, the Winnipeg Jets' first pick, down to Krebs, can't get a shot away. Krebs back with it, around to McMichael. Now McMichael, back to Perfetti, a hard shot, chipped in front, loose puck, score! Dylan Cousins cashes on the rebound. A power play goal to give Canada a 2-0 lead.
Pretty sharp play by Cousins here as he doesn't interfere with the goaltender as he's looking for that loose puck that is bounced around on Patenot. So Canada kills off a power play to start the period, gets their power play on, and Perfetti's quick shot is deflected by Cousins, and where he has to be careful is when that puck is available, you can't just run right over top of the goalie. He steps over top of Patenot, and before the Swiss defender can get back, he's able to chip it into a wide open net, and Cousins continues his very productive World Junior Tournament. 3 goals and 3 assists in the first game, an assist in the second game, and a power play goal here in game 3.
Cousins, we mentioned, broke his thumb in his first training camp with Buffalo last year, but went back to Lethbridge. Also missed time for the World Junior, but had 38 goals, 85 points in 51 games. And spent the extended offseason working out in Whitehorse, running in the sand up there, and a bunch of different lower body workouts.
Really good look from Perfetti across the seam to find Cousins for the deflection, and the rebound is in the net.
And hello once again to Mike and the Cousins family. His dad was a lawyer in Calgary years ago and was asked, the Alberta government helps run the territorial justice system, asked me to go up and do some work up there, never left. Loves it. Had a chance to meet the family a couple years ago, and we're proud Yukoners. It's a great part of the world. You ever get a chance? The land of the midnight sun.
They have a really nice kid for a son. What a nice presence Dylan Cousins has.
Played some of his minor hockey in Delta in BC. At the academy there. Suzuki knocks it in. And Fever tangles with him. Still to come tonight, we'll have Russia against Austria in this building. Russia coming off its first loss, and a chance in front for Mercer. Still loose. Tomasino battles for it. And that was knocked away. Russians are beaten by the Czechs, who played, in your opinion, a near perfect game.
Well, and you saw how difficult it is to play the perfect game twice in a row. As they were close for one period against the U.S. and then end up losing 7-0 today.
Tomasino knocks that down to the Swiss zone.
Be interesting to see if Russia makes any adjustments to what was a pretty disappointing game for them against the Czechs.
Drysdale knocks that down at center ice for Newhook. And swinging back is Janton. Back goes Byram, icing called against the Swiss. So the first player for Canada from Yukon, or the Yukon if you prefer. We've tried to sort that out with little success. I actually called the territorial government, and they said they prefer Yukon, but people that live there say they prefer the Yukon. So what I'd like them to do is everyone to get together.
Have a meeting, perhaps?
Have a meeting, send me an email, and that's what we'll go with. But the workhorse from Whitehorse, I think, is a fantastic nickname. Drysdale drops that back, no one there. And Byram goes back to pick it up as Foust was bearing in on him. In comes Newhook. Newhook drives in, rolling puck, he chipped that wide. Great dash there from Alex Newhook. Now Perfetti. Down to Krebs. Krebs a centering pass. There's Newhook, a backhand shot, that goes wide. Byram up with it. And Canuck chips it back to center ice. Krebs was the man back for Canada across to Drysdale. Lead pass to Newhook. Chips it there for Byram, leading the rush. Byram feeds it back across, and Holloway couldn't knock it down.
I like how quickly they turned that puck over, transitioned it up the ice, and while it didn't work, it's that type of pace that would make Canada more difficult to handle.
Canuck buried there by Gooley. And the puck goes to Cousins. Canuck. Big collision there with Holloway. The puck dribbles down to Levi.
I guess Holloway's upper body injury's feeling a little better. That's a pretty solid thump in the middle of the ice.
Fired down in the Swiss zone. Patenot has to jump on that as Holloway was bearing in.
Holloway missed the game against Slovakia with an upper body injury that said had it been later in the tournament he would have played. but he steps solidly. Really good hit into Simon Kanak. Here's this quick up. Krebs is going to start it, but watch him keep his feet moving to jump back up into the play. And as he's getting into the play, a nifty little touch pass from Newhook to Byram. They just miss on the far side, going across to Holloway, driving the far post.
Just to be clear, that was a forward in the defensive zone, making a pass to the far blue line where the defenseman was waiting. So I have that right.
Yes, the game has changed. Byram does not wait. If the opening is there, he's gone. Now, in the last game, we saw a 3-on-2, and both Drysdale and Byram were in the rush. They're the defense pair.
Long shot by Hartley is stopped in front by Patnaud with 14:49 to go.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
A couple of years ago in Buffalo, Sweden was playing Switzerland, and Eric Brandstrom made a D-to-D pass to Rasmus Dahlin that was 160 feet long. The longest D-to-D pass in history.
They were not shy about getting around the ice. Brandstrom, yet another one of those young Ottawa prospects. Oh, big hit.
Slam down Schlapfer. Brought back by Tomasino. Tomasino works in and dribbles down to Patnaud. They'll hang on to that.
Canada a little more physical here at the start of the second period. We just saw Dylan Holloway's hit on Simon Kanak in the middle of the ice, and not very far away, it's Dawson Mercer leaning into Schlapper. Pretty much the same place on the ice. I got to tell you, Gord, I really enjoyed Alex Newhook and Dawson Mercer's explaining of, I guess it's the English language.
Newfoundland terminology.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, it's on the website, on the TSN website.
I was cracking up trying to follow along what each of those phrases meant. That's so good. Remember when we went there for the Leafs exhibition game? I left a day and a half later. I wasn't sure that I was picking up on much of the conversation. Super happy people. It was awesome.
Throws it back in the corner. Now back in the point is Barron with a shot that goes wide. Banked out by Chanton. Kanak. Centering pass for Kananika. Back at the point, that's fired wide by Dollar. Long lead pass for Newhook, bit of a shift, he chips it down. A long way from the bench. And now he'll finally make his way over. Holloway ranges back, takes that pass away. Newhook's still out there. Holloway chips it ahead to Cousins. Now Drysdale gathers up a loose puck. Dollar tries to knock it down. And Byram's got it back for Canada. Newhook finally makes his way off the ice. Still in the offensive zone. Chance there for Jobin. Now walking in, a great chance there for Salzgeber, turned away by Levi. And Levi hasn't been tested often, but there have been a couple of good Swiss chances. Played back down to the Swiss zone, icing called against Canada.
Levi has played in 2 games, 5 periods. He's had 28 shots and given up just 2 goals. He's just 5 for 5 today. But as you mentioned, Gord, there's been a couple of difficult ones. This is a 20-foot dead center shot, and he makes the stop and is able to get that puck to his right and away from the front of the net.
Meyer drops it back, and that hard shot was blocked by McNichol. The rungs took that of him, and Michael shaking his hand after blocking it. Fired back in by Guggenheim. Attilio Fiasca tried to center that puck, it was knocked away. Pelche takes down Meyer. And Pelche looks ahead to Holloway. In comes Holloway. Big hit there with Guggenheim. Puck reaching the side of the goal, they dig it free. Here's Pelche with it. Pelche takes a hard bump. Guggenheim gathers up the rolling puck, and Pelche steps into him. Schneider back to Harlan. Lead pass to Byfield. In comes Canada. Byfield Snaps that pass to Zary. Moves it and shoots. He fired a wide. Rebound. Pelche scores! Jacob Pelche snaps it home, and it's a 3-0 lead.
A fortunate bounce on the spot. Pelche has his second goal of the tournament. This play will start another quick up, and Quinton Byfield's going to show off some quick hands here. Nifty little step in front of Guggenheim at the blue line. That pass is zipped to Zary, and when his shot misses the net, there's Pelche from a rather sharp angle, put it in off the post and in, but a nifty play by Quinton Byfield just inside the blue line. He used a quick step to get inside the line to keep the play onside. Quick hands to find Zary, and the grin on Pelche tells you who's put it in the net, and it's 3-0 Canada.
Gargano tries to clear it out. Now back at center ice, Harley. Across to Schneider, that lead pass was knocked away by Schlapper.
A couple of Calgary Flames connecting on that play. Zary with the shot, and Pelche with the finish.
Valentin Holford chops that down to the Canadian zone. Back comes Suzuki with it. Ryan Suzuki flips it down. Chanton. There's Pezzullo with it. Up to Marchand. Schlapper with a sharp angle. Shoots, and Levi fights that off. If you're Switzerland, you're heading into what's looking more and more like a one-game showdown to make the quarters. You've scored one goal.
You're not going to be filled with confidence here in what will be a very entertaining and tight game against the Germans.
Jacob Pelche, the 19-year-old from Quebec City, has Canada up 3-0. Well, we're happy to have past Chevrolet Good Deed Cup champions cheering with us this year. If you want to hear your Good Deed Cup pitch this year, visit ChevroletGoodDeedsCup.ca for more details. Guggenheim puts it back down. Levi chops it down. Barron knocked off stride. Kananika tried to center. That was broken up, and Krebs is away, along with Perfetti and Holloway. Krebs peels back. Slides it across. Goulet shoots, chipped in front, knocked away by Guggenheim, and back to center ice, and racing back is Goulet. Justin Barron lead for Krebs. And Guggenheim back with it. Midway point of the second period. Canada up 3-0. Looking to run its record of 3-0 in the tournament. Close out the preliminary round against the Finns on New Year's Eve.
And as you said, that the Swiss are going to be in a do-or-die game against Germany here, it appears. Canada will be in a 1-0 against Finland for first place in their pool.
Cousins holds the line as Canada changes, plays it down to Holloway. The Edmonton Oilers' first-round pick. Looks down for McMichael. He was tied up. Now McMichael back to his feet. Cousins a centering pass. Patton got a stick on that. Cousins drops it back to Drysdale. To Byram. Now Byram. Long wrist shot that got through. Goes tipped wide. Drysdale back with it. Drysdale pokes it back in the corner. Knocks down that clearing attempt from Salzgeber. And now Fiedler plays it to the line, and Byram stepped up to keep it alive. Byram feeds across to Holloway. Holloway back to McMichael, but a quick stick there. Broke that up. First got in the way, or Fiedler rather got in the way. That was centering pass by McMichael. These Swiss players exhausted now. Cousins works it and shoots it. Pinballs around in front. McMichael couldn't find it. He got slashed on the hand. McMichael's making his way off the ice. And drops his stick as he goes. Connor McMichael in some distress at the Canadian bench. At the line, held by Harley. Long wrist shot, that deflected wide. Zary got knocked flying. He gets up slowly, and now Byfield knocks it across to Korczak. Caden Korczak shoots, Patno the stop. Picked up by Pelche in the corner. Banks it back to Harley, to Pelche. To Korczak. Across to Harley, loves to shoot it, and does, and that's just wide. And these Swiss defenders are still stuck out there. Byfield. Fiedler can barely move. Korczak shoots, Patno save. They can't get a stoppage. Zary picks it up. Feeds it back. Pelche shot. That goes wide. How long have they been out there? Korczak back to Harley. He shoots. And a penalty coming. And Villa will go off, and Canada will go to the power play.
This lengthy shift leads to a penalty in front of the net as Alessandro Villa is in the penalty box. Canada with their 5th power play, and that shift never ended.
Well, you could, we joke about it's either a goal or a penalty.
Yeah.
Now, the other night, the Czechs actually managed to score a goal despite being hemmed in for a couple of minutes. But in that case, the Swiss were out of gas.
In Atlanta, we called that the reverse trap. You trap them in our zone, tire them out, and then eventually try to get a shot.
So their arms will get tired.
Yes, and then they can't react if you go get one shot.
Something it's not such a mystery that Atlanta won 14 games that way.
Oh, you don't do that by accident, I'll tell you.
Perfetti. Hard pump there for Krebs as Canada gets the power play set up. Here's Krebs with it. Centering pass just out of the reach of McMichael. He's back out there. Connor McMichael feeds it back to Perfetti. Walks in. His pass back across. Schlafly got a stick on that and knocked it up and out of play.
So 1 power play goal and 4 cracks for Canada. The Dylan Cousins goal off Cole Perfetti's pass. A quick change by Canada, and they'll get their 2nd power play group out. Still looking for a little rhythm. It's just not there yet, and I don't know that it's really that much of a surprise, Gord. I mean, coming into the tournament, we've talked that there's just 5 players that have played any hockey this year, and there are times that power play looks a little ragged.
And of course, it was the long quarantine in the selection camp in Red Deer.
Now, they lost all of their evaluation games, whether it be a couple more scrimmages internally, red-white games, or pre-tournament games against other countries.
Well, they were scheduled to play 6 games against university teams. They were all scrubbed. Suzuki down to Byfield. Now Byfield across to Suzuki. Back to Byfield. Suzuki. Quinn in the high slot. Drysdale across the new hook. And Suzuki walks in and shoots. Patno, pad save, rebound. Suzuki scores! Brian Suzuki on the rebound. A power play goal makes it 4-0.
Suzuki's got the feel of one of those players that is kind of climbing up the ladder a little bit here. Pretty solid play, but now more productive. Tomasino and Mercer and he have been a good line. Suzuki will get that first shot, and when Byfield goes to chip that to his backhand, it ends up, it actually goes off Patno's stick. Patno's going to deflect it. I thought Byfield had moved it across, and then Suzuki doesn't get a whole lot on it, but it's enough. It's a 2nd power play goal for Canada, and it's 4-0.
Suzuki wasn't able to go to training camp with Canada last year. He suffered an eye injury playing in the Ontario Hockey League. His brother Nick was a 1st-round pick of Vegas, who played for Canada in the World Junior, was subsequently traded to Montreal and was a big part of that young core there.
Yeah, he really jumped out last year after getting his opportunity in Montreal. And Holloway strong.
Holloway and Allsback collide. That shot fired wide by Durung. If Holloway's feeling no effects, it doesn't show here. He's had 2 or 3 solid hits. Cousins snaps that pass right wide to Holloway. Tries to drop it back. Allensbach picks it out. 5.5 to go here in the 2nd period. Biasca drops that back. Broken up by Schneider. Tapped ahead to Cousins. Dylan Cousins feeds it down to Holloway. Holloway to Schneider. Pass ahead to Holloway. Has some time. Cousins is posted up in front. The puck doesn't get to him. And now Gooley fought off Fust. Works back to the front of the net. Suzuki turned away in tight by Patnaud. Gooley keeps it alive again. And finally Chantal knocks it down, but that's knocked down by Suzuki. Ahead to Tomasino. Philip Tomasino opened the scoring in this game. Long shot. Patnaud save. Gooley in deep shoots. Patnaud another save. Tomasino in at the goalpost. And finally the puck leaves the zone.
Well, that all started with a rather soft Swiss clearing attempt. And they got to just zip the puck out of the zone. They've been hemmed in the zone a couple of times of their own poor clearing.
There's Meyer back with it. Oh, Meyer's pass broken up by Suzuki. Winds back in. Suzuki stripped of the puck. Mercer back with it. And Canuck, the Swiss captain, slides it up to Salzgeber. Drysdale had Canuck tied up. Here's Tomasino back with it. Knocked away from him, and a good poke check by Guggenheim. And Canuck slides it back. This is Switzerland's 12th straight year in the top group of the World Junior. Their only medal was a bronze in 1998 in Helsinki. They beat Russia in a shootout in the bronze medal game that year. Byram back with it. Slides it back to Drysdale. Had a real good World Championship a couple of years ago. Won their first 9 games in that tournament. They're losing to Sweden in the gold medal game. Here's Harley with it. Back to Korzak. Korzak shoots, tipped in front, rebound. Oh, what a stop by Patnaud. Zeri thought he had an open net there and couldn't cash, but Patnaud turned him away. Ryan Suzuki, 19-year-old from London, Ontario, makes it 4-0 Canada.
Canada 31-6 shot advantage. Noah Patnaud has made some terrific saves, none of them better than this. A save on the point shot net going as far as he can on Connor Zeri to get the left pad on it.
Patnaud, we mentioned, plays for St. John in the Quebec Major Junior League. Has played 11 games this year. Bouncing puck for Krebs in the only junior league in Canada that's been at the major junior level has been operational, the Quebec League. Korzak plays it back around. The trick for European players was if you came to the CHL, then went home for a training camp for this, you had to quarantine when you got home and then quarantine when you came back. Oh, depending on the country. There was Harley with a big collision there with Allenspach. Krebs works in. Zulo knocked that away.
And this kid plays with a lot of energy. Krebs just always seems to have his feet on the goal.
Allenspach blocked that, and Patnaud made the stop. So this is the World Junior Championship 2016 in Helsinki. Switzerland against Canada in a shootout. It's Avery Fust, Ryan Fust on the lap of his brother Raymond, who now, 5 years later, is playing for Switzerland in the World Junior. His dad, John, was the coach that year and the year previous. Imagine
so
that.
Good, so good.
Now a steal by Cousins. Drops it back, and a chance for McMichael scores! Cousins the steal. McMichael was shot, and it's 5-0.
Last year, McMichael had 5 goals in the tournament. That's his second. The goalies were asked earlier in this process for Canada what shooters had impressed them, and they all talked about McMichael's release, how quickly he gets it on the net. A turnover, and Cousins keeps that puck alive. He lays it right out to McMichael, and from just at the top of the circle, McMichael rips this past Patnaud one time, and it's 5-0. Cousins, an assist to go with his earlier goal.
And more of what you like from Dylan Cousins.
People of Buffalo are going to love watching Dylan Cousins to play. I think he's a right winger when he gets to the NHL, but his energy and his effort is going to make him an invaluable player for Buffalo. And you know, they're very excited about Cousins, of course. They're excited about Perfetti. We've got Taylor Hall on a one-year deal. I'm sorry, John, I meant Peterka. Sorry, I was looking at Perfetti when I said Peterka. Thank you.
JJ Peterka from Germany was a second-round pick.
They've got some good young people in the system, and let's not forget Rasmus Dahlin. It's not like he's a graybeard. A little bit of a mess over at the Swiss bench here.
Yeah, Hofer's tangled up there.
4 players, now down to 3, still fencing over by the bench.
Hofer was knocked off stride by Byram, and now Drysdale back with it. Here's Byram with it. Up to Tomasino. And Lionel Marchand. Working in, tries to drop that across. Goulet. Across to Jack Quinn. Leaves it back there for McMichael. Ahead to Cousins. Here they come again. Cousins centering pass. Schneider in. Shoots. Patno save. Rebound. Loose in front for Cousins. He was knocked off. Tried by Guggenheim. Goulet with it now. He shoots. It goes off the skate to Quinn. Quinn down to Cousins. Pulls it back and shoots. And Patno makes the stop. That's enough, he says, with 6 guys piled on top of someone.
Another look at that goal. Cousins on the hunt on the forecheck, steals it and turns around and finds McMichael. In that turn, his vision is up, his eyes are up to find where to go to the puck next. And McMichael's shot goes underneath the arm, between the body and arm. And the McMichael celebrate back home as Connor's on the board.
You know, Barrett Hayton scored the tying goal in the gold medal game last year. Akil Thomas scored the winning goal. The goal by McMichael should be remembered. Russia had just scored early in the third to make it 3-1, and less than a minute later, he got them back within 3-2.
And at 3-1, it was starting to feel like the game was slipping away. That goal, its timing, I think, was critical. It kind of reignited the Canadian squad, and they were able to pull that game out with.
Now, it won't make a list of the top 500 prettiest goals scored in the World
Oh,
Juniors.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Bounced off his trailing foot, right?
That's just fine.
Chance now for Fust. Penalty coming to Canada. The Canucks shoots. Levi the save. So the extra skater coming on for the Swiss. And they're going to start the third period on the power play, but Canada scores 4 in the period, extends the lead to 5-0 in this game against Switzerland. You're watching the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton. Our second emission is coming up with James Duffy and Bob McKenzie.
For 80 years, Esso has supported Canadian hockey with programs like the Esso Medals of Achievement, Esso Fun Days, and the Esso Cup through our long-standing partnership with Canada's national teams. Esso, proud premier partner of Hockey Canada.
James Duthie, Bob McKenzie, Craig Button back with your second intermission. The best period for Canada so far in this tournament. And Craig, you criticized the power play after one. Clearly they listened. Or they didn't listen, they just got better. But what did they do better in that second period?
Well, they did get a lot better, but they were quick and they were crisp and they were aggressive to the net. And as they come up the ice, it's picture perfect how they draw it up. Come into the zone with speed, come in with control, and then you might give up the puck, but be aggressive in getting it back. And when you understand where you want to get the puck to, Cole Perfetti is a great example of this as it comes back to him on the cross seam, quickly off the pass, right to Cousins. He's right at the net. That's the way you run a power play, quickly and aggressively.
And 5-on-5, they look better than anything in the Slovakia game. What specifically were they doing better there, Bob?
Well, they reestablished the hard, heavy, straight line hockey that the coach wants them to play. And the line that did that the best was Quinton Byfield between Jacob Pelche, and it turned out to be Connor Zary. So a couple of Pelche, Calgary Flame first rounder from 2 years ago, really aggressive on that shift. He made it all happen and he got to finish it off. Now it's interesting, Flames fans will like that one because Zary stepped up. He was their first round pick this past year. Pelche was their first round pick 2 years ago. So a couple of Flames fans, a couple of Flames prospects teaming up on that one. Should point out that Zary's moved from what was the 13th forward to start this game to become a big player on that line, and Jack Quinn, who was on that line, has dropped down to the 13th forward. I don't recall seeing a lot of Dylan Holloway in the second half of that period, so he was dinged up earlier but played the start of this game, so we'll keep an eye on that situation.
And Craig, you mentioned in our first intermission how Quinton Byfield is more of a presence this year, and now a presence all over the score sheet. 3 assists. Is he now becoming what I think the nation expected to see from Quinton Byfield, the second overall pick in this tournament?
Yes, he is, James. And, you know, we can talk all we want about he's on the cusp of breaking out. Well, the evidence is there now, and it's clearly there. Big, quicker, powerful, and really asserting himself. And it's not a player that's looking maybe to dip a toe. He's going forcefully forward. He's making good plays defensively. He's making really smart plays in and around the net and creating those chances. So as we are starting to see with Quinton Byfield, the confidence is growing, the quickness is growing, the productivity is starting to really show up on the score sheet.
Canadians watching this in every corner of the country, and one very interested viewer down in Chicago, Illinois, the captain, Kirby Dach. Of course, just that awful injury before the tournament that knocked the captain out. But he's been watching this, and he will join us next live from Chicago.
A premier partner of Hockey Canada, Tim Hortons has supported minor hockey for over 35 years through the Timbits Hockey Program and its commitment to developing teamwork, confidence, and social skills in an inclusive environment. Timbits Hockey, where the first goal is having fun.
So Finland plays Slovakia tomorrow, and then if they win that one, and assuming Canada holds on here, it will be as expected, Canada versus Finland on New Year's Eve, same time, 5:30 Eastern for the start of the pregame to decide who gets top spot in Group A. So pleased to welcome Team Canada captain Kirby Dach, who underwent surgery on his right wrist yesterday. First and most importantly, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing pretty good today, actually. I thought it'd be a lot worse. Obviously, I lived with Brent last year, and he went through a bunch of surgeries. So I was expecting the worst, and it's been not too bad.
It was so hard for everybody to watch, and I hate to make you live through it, but what exactly happened on the play?
Yeah, obviously I've gone back and watched it a couple of times, but it was kind of a fluke thing. I mean, I really thought my stick broke because of the sound it made, and then I looked down at my hand, and it didn't feel the best, and didn't really look right. So obviously I headed off there and got the doctors involved pretty quickly, and they were able to stabilize it. Obviously flew here the next day and got surgery yesterday.
And I guess you pretty much knew right away when you went off the ice that you were probably done?
Yeah, I think you don't want to think about that. You kind of just want to be like, hey, like, let's fix this and get back out there in the moment. But once you kind of take a step back and realize what's really going on, that dream kind of quickly fades away and you're not able to compete anymore.
Well, we want you to go from captain to analyst for us today. We know you've been watching, so assess your team's play for us.
I thought it's been good, obviously. Yeah, the tough game against Slovakia. I mean, the guys were riding high off a big win against Germany. And I think today it's been a lot better. Obviously, special teams is a big part of it, and I think the power play is starting to start clicking here, and I think that'll be a reason why we'll win the tournament.
Dylan Cousins and Bowen Byram are alternating wearing the C's, but the Team Canada did not want to name another captain. They said right from the beginning, Kirby Dach's still our captain. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, it's pretty special. I mean, those guys are just as deserving as I am to be the captain of the team. there's a bunch of other leaders that could be wearing letters too. So for them to kind of come up with statements like that, it means a lot. And obviously I'm behind them and talk to them throughout this process and try to stay in touch with them as much as I can.
Well, listen, we know how much you wanted to come back and play for Team Canada, how hard you lobbied the Blackhawks, and all of Canada. Really sorry that you couldn't be here, but we all wish you a speedy recovery and want to see you back on the ice with the Blackhawks as soon as possible.
For sure. Thank you.
That is Team Canada captain Kirby Dach. And it's been a tough week for the Chicago Blackhawks. If you missed the news today, Captain Jonathan Toews will not report to the team in training camp, and there is no timetable on his return. He's fighting an illness which they're still trying to figure out, which has left him severely fatigued and lethargic. Jonathan Toews, of course, one of the best World Junior players ever for Canada, and we all wish him a speedy recovery. Through 2 periods of play here, Canada completely dominating over Switzerland. 5-0 as you score. We'll take one more break and bring you back for the third. Once again this year, Sport Logic is helping us track those dangerous shots from that home plate area around the goal, and you see all the white dots on the Canada side, 20-2, and a 5-0 advantage, the red dots for Canada. Gordon Miller, Ray Ferraro.
And here's your second period scoring summary. Canada scores 4 times, including a pair of power play goals to grab a 5-0 lead out of the shots. 23-4 in that period, 37-7 overall. Quinton Byfield with 2 assists in that period has 3 in the game, Ray.
Starting to come on a little bit now. The ice time's not there. It's not like he's going to start piling up a bunch of minutes here. The youngest player on Canada's roster for the 2nd straight year has had a really good day today. I think he's starting to play with more purpose, a little more vigor around the puck. Here he makes a really slick pass to Tomasino for the game's first goal. He's going to make a sharp little quick move. That's what I'm interested in seeing from such a big man, how his feet start to move. Are they moving quicker? Is he adjusting quicker? He makes a great play to Zeri that leads to Pelche's goal, and then a little bit of a break there on assist number 3 as that puck slides off his stick to Suzuki and it's in the net. A real good day for Quinton Byfield. Here's the penalty and why the Swiss will start the 3rd period on the power play. Caden Gooley in the penalty box. 8 of 10 on the draw for Byfield, 3 assists, 7 minutes and 18 seconds of ice time.
Swiss are 0 for 3 on the power play. Don't have a shot yet on the man advantage. And the puck banked back down to the Swiss zone. So Canada plays the Finns to close out the preliminary round on Thursday as that lead pass goes to Schlaffer, but it's offside. The Finns play Slovakia tomorrow at noon local time. That'll be the first of 3 tomorrow here. And the Swiss are headed for a 1-game showdown with Germany. Quite likely to see who is going to advance to the quarterfinals. There's no relegation this year. Dawson Mercer chops at that. Schneider plays around. Mercer has a short-handed goal in this tournament so far. And here's Quinn with him. Quinn lead pass to Mercer, goes off his skate, and Meyer picks it back up. Most of these Swiss players play in the top Swiss league known as the Swiss National League. They'll alternate time. Some of them play for 3 different teams over the course of the year. They've really tried to improve junior hockey in Switzerland, promoting an under-20 league in that country.
And so those 3 teams often are under the same umbrella.
Right.
You know, it's not like they're scattershot all over the place. And
all in the same facility. As a long point shot was blocked from Pizzulo. So, for example, a team like Zurich would have its Swiss National League team, a team in the Swiss B League, and probably a junior team.
Yeah, it's much set up the way as soccer academies are. You move from level to level inside the same group.
Chipped in by Biasca. And now Pelche, who has a goal for Canada, fires it back down the ice. The big news in Switzerland this week was that Roger Federer won't play in the Aussie Open. And there is some competition for sports in Switzerland for top-level athletes.
5 even, 5 even.
They're a decent soccer country, and skiing is enormous. Gavan slides that down. Played back at the point, Barragano. Across he goes to Meyer. That shot blocked. Another chance from the side of the goal for Jobin. The teams are back to 5-on-5. One shot on that power play. So again, Ray, you made the point earlier. They've got one goal in the tournament so far.
You know, you've got to find a way to generate offense there. The problem is if you're going to be creative and take chances that, you know, that takes you out of this defensive structure that's really your best chance to win. But they don't have enough skill to create the chances, and so you kind of get stuck.
Here comes Byro, backhand shot. Patno hugging the post. Looks back, and he's frozen the puck. And we say hello. Oh, big yawn at the top of the screen. It's late. It's good morning.
It's the middle of the night.
It is. Well, it's after midnight, so you can say good morning.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's not like morning yet. It's not like they're getting up for a walk.
No, the sun's up. You don't have to milk the cows just yet. No. Dooley plays it down to Tomasino. That long shot goes high and wide. I think there used to be a tennis tournament in Switzerland where the first prize was a cow. You actually won a cow.
Now, what do you do with the prize?
I think you just, like, they take care of it for you.
Oh, okay.
Unless you really wanted it.
Well, I was going to say, let's just assume you're from the United States or Canada and you win the tournament. Now what?
Tomasino. Oh, your customs declaration gets a lot more complicated. Penalty coming to Switzerland.
All of a sudden, you're out of ideas.
Here comes Tomasino. And finally touched up in Canada. We're going to power play here with 3:57 gone in the period. Mercer was clipped with a high stick. And Raymond Foust will go off. Feisty like his dad.
Switzerland number 23, minor penalty, ice stick.
Pardon me, it's Cedric Fiedler, not Foust. That's a...
the only question there was a 2 or a 4. It is a 2. Fortunately, Mercer not cut. Power play 6 for Canada, 2 for 5 so far.
Byram, long wrist shot that was blocked by Salzgeber. Here's Krebs, drops it back. McMichael in, shoots. That was blocked in front by Pizzulo. Behind the goal, Cousins reaching for it, finally fired down the ice by Pizzulo. One year at the World Hockey Championship, Ray, Eric Lindros was the MVP in Munich. He won 2,000 liters of beer. Byram in, shoots. Patno makes the stop and has a quick look back.
Well, that I can, you know, I mean, you can get behind that with, as opposed to a cow. Like, really, can you not? I mean,
hey, listen, I'm all for it. Just that's a lot of beer.
All of a sudden, you got a lot of friends.
Oh yeah. Please don't bring any.
Patno makes a save and ends up spinning back into the net.
Drysdale. Back for Newhook. Drysdale feeds it back across. Suzuki. Drops that down to Byfield. Drysdale. For Suzuki. Quinn. Byfield pulls it back, tries to get a shot away. Patno poked that away. Quinn back with it. Drysdale back to Newhook. Byfield feeds it back. Quinn, a quick shot. And Patno got a piece of that. Now Drysdale. Here's Quinn. Back at the point is Drysdale. Long wrist shot, scores! That was tipped in front. Might have been Byfield who got a piece of it. And Canada's got a 6-0 lead.
Now this is turning into a really good day for Quinton Byfield. In front of the net on the power play. You could see this early in the game when he made the nice play a minute and a half into the game to Tomasino. But watch Jamie Drysdale's feet here along the blue line. We talk about how quick he is and how he's able to create a shot. He's kept the puck alive, and now he's going to move just a couple of feet, and the wrister is on target past the initial shot, and there's the deflection by Byfield. His first of the tournament, a 4-point night, and it's 6-0. Canada has 3 power play goals.
Byfield, the 2nd overall pick in the last draft by the Los Angeles Kings, have been working out in LA prior to the Canadian selection camp. And now brought in by Foot. Sends it back across. That pass misfired. It's been working out as well with Gary Roberts, who's the fitness guru. Coming to Canada here as Connor Zary goes off.
Canada number 9, minor penalty. Okay.
This will be 5 tries for the Swiss on the power play here. Zary gets called for the hook. Coming back to the front of the net and gets called right in front.
So I found it. It's the Swiss Open tennis tournament. They don't give it away every year, but twice Roger Federer has won a cow.
He needs that.
For the man who has everything. The run ships that in and move back to center ice. 41-10 of the shots. That shapes up as an interesting matchup tomorrow for the Swiss and the Germans, because Germany's coming on here after their opening game blowout loss to Canada. They've got players back healthy. They've played better as they've gone long. Played a really good game yesterday against Slovakia. And they'll get more players back healthy today. 5 more released from quarantine. They got a full complement now. That's why they played the game against Canada when they did.
Correct.
They were given an opportunity to delay that game, but they wanted to keep the schedule as is so they'd have the day of rest before the game against Switzerland. It paid off. They beat Slovakia in overtime. And that's a 2-point win as opposed to a regulation win, which is worth 3. So now it sets up kind of the way they played it out, right?
What a long and hard road for them. So many obstacles, and even in the game yesterday that they won, the first goal that they gave up was about 5 feet offside, right? And yet they still fought their way through that.
There are challenges here. Teams are allowed to challenge. It's a minor penalty if you're wrong. The goal interference or offside. Now Mercer, Mr. Ice, Pizzullo knocked that down with a high stick, and play is called. Quinton Byfield, a goal and 3 assists. Canada a 6-0 lead. Thanks to the 18-year-old from Newmarket, Ontario.
There is the 18-year-old Quinton Byfield. 32 goals in 45 games last year. This is his 2nd World Junior tournament and didn't play a whole lot last year. Just 1 assist. Played 8 minutes and 41 seconds a game. Well, that power play goal gives him a goal and 3 assists today. It's amazing what a little success does. You get a little quicker, you get a little faster, a little hungrier. You don't squeeze your stick as much. He looks terrific today. He's open again.
We're into Byfield, shoots, scores! That's a 5-point game for Byfield.
Good for him. Man, he gets open here. Watch him here in the middle of the ice. He reads the play now. He pivots and turns to get himself into position. This is a great pass by Jack Quinn. And Byfield is open, and that is in the net again. Look, last year I know he didn't play very much, but it still wears on you. You're supposed to be a point producer. He knows he's going to be in the top of the draft. And in this tournament, he's watching everybody talk about Tim Stützle, as they should, because he's had an amazing tournament. And all of a sudden, you feel left out of the party. This is a little, hey, look over here. Look at me a little bit. This is 5 points for Byfield, and he's been fantastic today.
Knack drops it back, and Salzgeber flipped that high. Among those who sent him welcome messages when he was drafted by LA, Magic Johnson, Rams quarterback Jared Goff, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, and Snoop Dogg. Well, you played in LA, Ray. You know what it's like when the Kings are good.
When the Kings are good, people start coming out of the woodwork a little bit. And right now in LA, with 9 prospects this year, 9 prospects last year in the tournament, they're clearly in their rebuild phase, and that is a big part of it in Quinton Byfield.
He's also 18.
Correct.
In a tournament where 19-year-olds tend to dominate.
The youngest player on Canada's roster. Again.
Perfetti a chance, and he sticks that in the net.
What a shot.
And Cole Perfetti's got his first of the World Junior.
A minute and 2 after Byfield made it 7-0. Perfetti gets his first, as you mentioned, Gord. Man, he doesn't waste much time at all here. Good work in the corner here. Krebs keeps his puck alive. Shadows the puck away. And then Perfetti comes all the way over the top into the shallow side of the ice. A quick pivot and then up over Patnaud's shoulder. Terrific work by Krebs. Great shot by Perfetti, and it's 8-0. These new lines that Canada put together have certainly responded in a big way here. Not just the goals scored. I've been pretty impressed with how aggressive they've been, how quickly they've played, how much puck support they've had. I think pretty much everything that Andre Tourné was hoping for when he reconfigured the lines for this game.
That's goals on 3 straight shots for Canada. We should point out that Switzerland's starting goaltender the first 2 games was Tipo Fanton. They're probably saving him for the game tomorrow against Germany. We see that a lot in the World Junior Championship and the World Championship, where you save your #1 guy for the game you think you have the best chance to win. Now a penalty coming to Holloway.
Canada number 10, 2 minutes, Griffin.
This is, you know, we talked at the start about whether the Swiss could provide any challenge offensively for Canada, and the answer, my answer was no. And you know, they've got 11 shots here, 50 minutes into the game. This is their 6th power play. 0 for 5.
Knack with it. Slides it back to Meyer. The center pass for Bergero. And a quick chance there for Schlotfer, kicked away by Levi. And sent down the ice by Cousins. Okay, Raymond, it's trivia time. 8-goal lead. You ready?
Well, I'm a little worried here because you were bragging on this.
No, this is, I got a different one for the Austria game tonight.
Oh, the one for tonight, you're very fired up on.
The one for the Austria game tonight, I think, is the most challenging one yet. But here it is tonight.
Oh, boy.
Who is Switzerland's all-time leader in assists at the World Junior? He's a current National Hockey League player.
Okay, I got 3 choices. Okay. And I bet I can go 0 for 3 with them. My first thought was Nino Niederreiter, but I don't think that's right.
That's correct. It's not right.
My next thought was Nico Hischier, and I don't think that's right.
No.
So I'm going to go with Gaetan Haas.
You're 0 for 3.
But that's okay. That was my guess.
He's a Toronto Maple Leaf.
He just signed there.
Well, was traded during the season.
I was going to say, clearly I'm not putting this one together.
Dennis Mulligan.
I would not have got that, no. How many games did he play for the Leafs? Like that's, I don't know that you can.
Played 8.
I think that's a misleading clue.
Okay.
You cannot claim victory for that.
I'm not claiming victory.
Oh, yes, you are.
It's a fact. I didn't say he was a regular player. I didn't say he was a frontline player. He is a current.
You said a current NHLer.
Yes.
And I will debate that.
Byron shoots. You can appeal this to Dylan Cousins' dad.
He will support me on this one.
I doubt it.
I think we should go visit and present the case.
In comes Zary with it. Shoots, and Patno knocks that away. Byfield plays it around. And now Schlapper. It's crunched there by Byfield. Quentin Byfield, by the way, Ray, you talked about it before, is 6'4", 220 pounds already and filling out. Like he's going to be what?
Well, I don't know how much heavier he can get, but he's going to get stronger and stronger.
Zary drops it back. Perfetti trying to feed that back across.
So, you know, he put on about 10 or 12 pounds working with Gary Roberts here in the pandemic, and you got to get used to lugging that around. It's all muscle, sure, and it's all strength, but you still got to carry it around.
Pence works it and shoots. Patno the save, rebound cleared away. Gary Roberts, of course, a former NHLer who is fitness advisor to a lot of NHL players. Now working with Seattle, isn't he? Didn't he?
He's doing a consulting. You're in a consulting role with the Kraken.
Well, he's got Connor McDavid as a client. Jeff O'Neill was 1-2. You can't win them all.
I was going to say that. I'd like to see that. When was Oil client? Oh,
there's
what a
long shot, a rocket.
Wow.
That goes by Patno, and it's 9-0.
Gooley's second goal of the tournament. It's a long one-timer. It beats Patno. He scored in the first game against Germany. And he takes this side-to-side pass. Again, good work by Krebs. Protecting the puck, keeping the play alive, and Gooley slides backwards to open up a pass lane, and this goes clean off the post by Patno and in the net. Krebs has got a couple assists here in the last few minutes.
So O worked with Gary Roberts when they were together in Carolina. And so he went to Northern Ontario, cottage country. Gary pulled a tire out of the trunk of his car. And O thought they'd roll it, you know, sort of across the parking lot. And Gary pulled out a rope and tied it around his waist and said, we run up this hill with that tied behind us. And O got back in his car and went home.
Oh, so it was rather short-lived with the work.
I think it was a before and before picture. Fiedler, back to Guggenheim. Now brought in by Hofer. Valentin Hofer. Colorful first names in the Swiss team. You got a Valentin, you got an Elvis, and a Tilio.
Giancarlo.
Rocco. That shot drifts high and wide. The Men's World Championship was supposed to be there last May. Wraparound try by Katanika. And there's even a Raymond.
Yes.
Can't go wrong with Raymond. Everyone loves Raymond.
You could.
I'm afraid that Gordon is a dying breed. That was named after Mr. Hockey, but that was a long time ago. In comes Mercer. Sends it down to Suzuki. Now Tomasino banks it back in front. Mercer can't reach it. And here's Canuck with it. Canuck comes jumping in, and Byron moves him off the puck. And Levi's got it. 4:42 to go here in the third. Time now for the Gatorade shift of the game.
Quinton Byfield's had quite a day for Canada. He's in on the forecheck. He's creating turnover after turnover, and then when Jack Quinn finds him with a little 2-foot pass, Byfield finds Philip Tomasino coming off the bench, and it's 1-0 Canada.
Gatorade, rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Byfield was terrific for Canada in the summer of 19 at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup in the Czech Republic, the under-18 summer tournament. Now a chance for Pelche, and scores! He's got 2, and that's 10.
Four in the second, 5 in the third here for Canada. As Pelche is going to find the loose puck coming off the forecheck. That's 6 points for Byfield, and this is a really nice release by Pelche, and I'd imagine the Pelche-Quinn-Byfield line will stay together for the game against Finland. What a big night for these guys. Pelche is one of those guys I've really been impressed with him. He's always around the puck. He always seems to find his way to where the center of the play is, and he makes no mistake there to put that one away.
And Coach Andre Tourigny coached him at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup here in 2018, and in that tournament too, Ray, he moved up and down the lineup, played different roles,
different sides of the ice. He's going to be a valuable, useful utility player. Not to say that there's not a spot for him on an NHL roster. I mean, he's going to be one of those guys that is going to work his way around the lineup. Those are so valuable.
He had 32 goals in 52 games last year between Moncton and Val-d'Or. Or sorry, for Moncton last year, he was traded to Val-d'Or in the offseason. Now Canuck moves in, that's knocked away from him. And Krebs jams at that. Here's no hook, lifts it back to center ice. Here's Cousins with it. Dylan Cousins works in. Gauvin. Spins back in the corner, moves that by McMichael. McMichael knocks it down again. A little between the legs pass for Cousins. Lifts it back across. And that was knocked away by Marchand. But from here, the competition gets measurably tougher. Canada closes out the preliminary round against the Finns on New Year's Eve. And then it's on to the single elimination medal round at the 2021 World Juniors.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you by SodaStream. Small bubbles, big impact.
Back here in Edmonton, still to come tonight, Russia and Austria. The nightcap. I do have a trivia question prepared just in case Austria falls behind by 6.
Will it be factual this time?
The last one was factual. You need to get over this.
The clue was disallowed.
By whom?
By John Perlberg, our statistician. He found it to be incorrect. And Perley knows. Perley's the ultimate voice on this.
Long lead pass for Mercer. He didn't know his first name till 6 weeks ago.
Don't be silly. You got 90 seconds to go here. See if you can bring it in.
Penanica slides it down to the Canadian zone, and a puck bounces in front of Levi. Swatted that way with some help from Schneider. Byfield pokes it ahead to Zary. Byfield plays it down to Schneider. Remember you said 5 years ago at the World Junior in Edmonton, you said when Connor McDavid scored, you said breathe.
Oh man, they put so much pressure on themselves that there's so much expected.
Operation Puck Drop was created to bring hockey back to communities, families, and neighborhoods that have felt the impacts of the pandemic. To see more of the stories, visit operationpuckdrop.ca.
And so there's so much pressure on these young guys, and Byfield hears that people are talking about Stützle and how that he hasn't got on track yet and hasn't made an impact, and I would say today answers a lot of the critique. He showed off a lot of the abilities and skills that made him so interesting to teams at the top of the draft. I mean, his size, of course, but his playmaking, his creativity, his hands. And he's getting lots of ice time today as the game's spread out. Well, he's got a lot to do with it. He's got 6 points.
It bears repeating. We talk about it a lot, Ray, but if the NFL had an 18-year-old draft, Tom Brady wouldn't have been picked in all likelihood. He was a 5th-round pick out of Michigan as it was, wasn't he?
Yes, and it's interesting. While we all want instant evaluation of the prospects, the teams aren't looking for instant evaluation. They're looking for development.
Pelche moves in, drops that back to Zary, can't get a shot away. Now does, and Patton kicks that away. Just imagine Byfield at 22.
But just think of most of these kids, that they're completely different people, both physically and maturity-wise by that time, and that's really when most of them are going to start making their impact in the NHL.
Zary plays it back to Pelche. And Canada runs its record to 3-0 at the 2021 World Junior Championship. And the score to this point for Canada is 29-3. But now a New Year's Eve date with Finland to wrap up the preliminary round in Group A.
Well, really no surprises through the first 3 games of the tournament when we saw that the Swiss were going to be really inexperienced and young, and the Germans were going to have 3/4 of a team. This is pretty much how you thought the first part of the tournament would go, but the competition, the pressure, it all is going to ramp up here with the Finns on the horizon.
And for Switzerland, next up, Germany, with a spot in the quarterfinals likely at stake. Time now for the player of the game presentations and then the Canadian anthem.
The best players of each team is presented by Explore Edmonton, the visitor economy and venue management organization for Edmonton. Each winner will be awarded with a custom wallet from local maker Close General Leather Company. Recipients will receive their award after they exit the ice. The best player of Team Switzerland est le numéro 8, number 8, Simon Knock. The best player of Team Canada est le numéro 19, number 19, Quinton Byfield. Et maintenant, pour l'hymne national, for the national anthem of Team Canada.
2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
Three wins, 29 goals for, 3 against, and the first World Junior shutout for Devin Levi, and that's his mom, Ida, watching. You know what it's like to be the mom of a goalie. That's her reaction as the game ends and her son has his first ever World Junior shutout for Team Canada. How good is that? And so Canada 3-0 atop of Group A, and it will come down to this. Finland does play Slovakia tomorrow. If they win that game, it will come down to that showdown New Year's Eve, as we thought when the skid first came out for this tournament, to decide who wins Group A. Over in Group B, a little more complicated. Here's the interesting thing. The Russians, you see them down in 4th right now. That upset loss to the Czech Republic. But the Russians, because they beat the Americans, actually control their own destiny. They play Austria tonight here on TSN and then play Sweden. They win those 2 games, Russia will win Group B. Speaking of which, we'll take a little break and be right back at you, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, for Russia versus Austria here on TSN to wrap up yet another triple header. Canada will get the day off tomorrow, and then Thursday, that last game in Group A play, 5:30 p.m. Eastern to end 2020. Hey, it's finally over. What a good way to end it. Dominating performance by Canada by far, even though they scored more goals against Germany. This was by far their best overall performance of the tournament. What a day for Quinton Byfield with 6 points, and Canada rolls to 3-0 at the World Juniors in Edmonton on TSN.